If you don't have the money, if you don't have the financial backup to enroll in any session or on any speaking platform, you can learn on your own. Yes, it is possible. For the time being, you can learn on your own till you get the circumstance and also the financial backup to enroll in some course. Some papers as these, cut into rectangular or square shapes, whatever shape you like. Even if you don't have colored papers, you can make use of something that's available at home. White paper, okay, fine. And one resource. Resource could be a short story, newspaper article, or whatever you're comfortable with. Even if you just listen to a podcast, any content, that's fine. Now, before I begin the activity, remember that you need to do this activity consistently. And I guarantee you will definitely experience the change. You'll feel that your sentences are becoming much better. And you know that I've already started this series of activities. So it cannot be called active learning activities or methods because you're not right in front of me. But I believe that you are taking the effort by pausing the video and then repeating after me or doing the activity. So before we begin the activity, I want to tell you something. If you're new to this channel, my name is Renee Rose Matthew. I'm a CELTA certified tutor and also an author. Please do watch the other videos. Take a look at the channel description also. So I just wanted to share this small story with you. It's a real life story. There was a man who wanted to become a writer. You can put yourself in his shoes and think about your career if you want. It may be relatable. It could be relatable to some of you at least. Now, this person wanted to passionately, ardently become a writer. He learned something. He took up some courses. He read voraciously. And then he decided to write. But there was one problem. Do you know what was the problem? You name any bad quality, he had that. He topped the list. He was a chronic drunkard, alcoholic, a womanizer, and also he loved gambling money. He was not very rich to gamble away money, but he just loved doing this with whatever he had. So you name any bad quality, he was the owner of that. Now this person decided to write because he has taken up courses, he just wanted to write. He started writing. He began sending all his manuscripts to the available publishing press. Now I'll be giving you the meanings of some of the words if you're not sure of these meanings, but I always suggest that you look up a dictionary because you have online and offline dictionaries available. So I'll be giving you the meanings used in this context because some of the words can have more than one meaning. So here I've given the meanings of all the words used till now. So these are the new words, not the ordinary ones. If you want, you can take a look at it. Okay. So he sent all his manuscripts to different publishing teams and he was waiting for the result. He got a lot of letters. He got a lot of rejection letters, rejection slips. Not even one manuscript got selected. So at first, he did not give up. He did not feel bad. But one day he just looked at his table. And then he saw the number of rejection slips and letters stacked on the table. They were piling up. Not even one got accepted. No appreciation also. What more do you want to fall into depression? First he was disappointed. Some kind of fear groped him. And after that, he was shrouded by this fear, depression. And then he fell a victim to depression. So already he had all the bad qualities. Now he fell into depression also. So you should understand that days went by, years went by, and this person did not have any other job. Because what was his passion? His passion was to become a writer. And he thought that he would become one. Everything was a failure. All his dreams started shattering. It just began falling down. It began shattering. And then he had to feed himself, right? He wanted to move on, earn his livelihood. So he decided to get a job at the post office. That's the only thing he could afford. On some meager salary, he began working at the local post office. And there he was not very happy. He just pushed himself to go for the work, did something, came back home, and in the evenings, he drank his fill and gambled all the money he had. He didn't get much. Of course, his salary was less. He barely scraped through, and still he decided to gamble the money that he got. So here are some of the words. You can pause and take a note of it because I don't want you to miss the flow of the story. And like that, years went by. Everybody started making fun of him. The society also tagged him as a failure, loser, all the names. Days went by, and when he reached the age of 50, so years went by, and one day one editor of a very small publishing press, it cannot be even called a press, a small firm, took pity on him. So he said to this man, to our hero, I have a very small shop, not even a press. I cannot pay you much. If you want, you can join me. Why don't you write something? You wanted to become a writer. You failed at everything, but just for your satisfaction, if you want, you can write. But you have to leave that job, the post office job, if you have to write. I can pay you something, though not frequently, regularly, the monthly salary, as you know. I'll pay you something, but I don't have any guarantee. So this person said, I'll let you know after a few days. He was busy gambling and wasting away his life. So after a few days, he sent a letter back saying, I just have two options in front of me. So this is a letter to the editor. Thanks for your offer. The first option is to continue working with the post office and to remain unhappy. I'll just move on with this life. The second option is to take up the small offer in your publishing press and to starve, because this person said, I cannot guarantee you. So either to live an unhappy life or to starve. But I have decided to go for the second choice. And what was that? To write something and starve. Surprising, right? Didn't he learn a lesson from all these things that happened to him? So the editor said, okay, fine, you can take up the job, but you have to sign a contract. There is no turning back after you sign the contract. So this person said, okay, fine, I've decided to starve, I'll take up this. So he sat down again at his table. He began writing. At that time, he heard all this noise. The subconscious mind was telling him, you failed. Many years back, you failed. You got rejected. All the slips are there, somewhere in the drawer. And then he thought about the title. After writing something, so the title was Post Office. He couldn't think of anything better. Post Office. And then you know that we have the dedication page, the preface and everything for a book. So he just wrote, dedicated to nobody. The title was Post Office. He submitted. That was the beginning of his writing career. I'm speaking about a very famous writer, and this is the person. He's one of the famous American writers. The first work was Post Office, published in 1971. Many copies got sold. He never knew that he was going to write novels after novels, 6, 8. It went on like that. So if I ask you what is the lesson that you learned from the story, you may tell me, ma'am, he did not give up. He tried his best. He kept on trying. Even after he thought that he was a failure, he did not quit writing. This is what you're thinking, right? Some of you may have some other opinion. It's okay. You can write in the comment section. By the way, I have some words here before I give you the final value. Okay. So we may have all these motivational quotes and all the positive vibes flashing across the mind, thinking that you should never give up, even the world fails, you should keep writing. Actually, that is not the reality. He had a counterintuitive approach to life. Don't worry, I'll make it easier for you. The final twist, the final turning point, not even the twist, that is when the editor offered the job, Henry Charles Bukowski decided to be honest and genuine. He didn't want to showcase himself as somebody else, as if somebody who trespassed the undeniable odds, jumped over the tribulations and trials in life, nothing like that. He didn't want to showcase himself as a positive person who never had any setbacks or backlashes in life. He was just genuine and honest. He was honest with his words. He was genuine with whatever he wrote. He just accepted his shortcomings. He accepted all his flaws. He knew that he was not very good with writing. Perhaps nobody wanted to read whatever he wrote, but he was just honest. So accepting your shortcomings and then moving forward in life after this constructive criticism, not with destructive criticism. When he wrote, we didn't have any destructive criticism, I think, so nobody thought about it or talked about it. But after you get the constructive criticism, you need to accept your shortcomings, accept yourself, and then you need to move forward. But what is the culture today? The social media culture. Even when you learn a language, what is the culture that you have today? It's sort of toxic. It's a bit toxic. It pushes you to become the best person. You know that you're good today. You will become better tomorrow with some effort. But immediately people will tell you, you're not the best. You should become the best. You should become the best. The best will come to you when you realize, when you move forward with all the shortcomings and flaws that you have discovered and worked upon. But today the culture is different. I'm not speaking about realization or accepting yourself as you are, but above that, the culture, the society, even when you look into yourself, sometimes you put that pressure. I want to be the best. I should be the best. If I'm not the best, I'm good for nothing. It's not even being natural or ordinary. We all are ordinary. But Henry Charles became extraordinary only because of acceptance, the counterintuitive approach to life. And I got the story from this book. It's just one chapter of the book. There is more to it. This is a solution, or this is an answer to all the positive, toxic positivity and motivational things that's happening around. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be positive, you shouldn't be motivated. When you do all these things, even before you motivate yourself, take the action. Today, what people tell you or what you understand is, just motivate yourself. You sit in the morning, wake up in the morning, let motivation come to me. I was also under this impression maybe years back. Let the motivation come. You take some action and then motivation will come running behind you. That's what he did. He took some action. It's not about not giving up, because when he died, there is something known as the epitaph. That is the words that's written on the tombstone. It was, don't try. Don't even try to be somebody else. Accept yourself, accept the shortcomings. Do not deny that we all are human beings, we all make mistakes. Again, I'm not speaking about the destructive mentality, but destructive mentality is also there when people push you to be the best. So when you learn this English language, you're good today. Tomorrow you will become better with some effort. You cannot be the best all of a sudden, because today everybody pushes you to be using the fast method. I would say the faster methods are over. We have trespassed that. But now it is the fastest way of developing your language. And sometimes people say bestest. There's no word as bestest. Quickly you can learn? No. You are better. You are better. You accept where you are. And then you become better. And one day, subconsciously, you will know, your mind will tell you, you're speaking much better, you're doing good. Now we have listened to the story. If you haven't paid attention, you can go back, pause, rewind. What is the activity? I told you should listen to something. If this is a story, it's okay. But otherwise, if you want to listen to some other story, anything that's okay for you is acceptable. Even if you listen to children's story, it's great. After paying attention to the story, do justice to the listening part. You write down some words as this. I hope you can see there's one idiom. This is only for you, right? You don't have to cut it in such kind of shapes, okay, equal proportion and such kind of things. Random papers you can take from somewhere, craft papers or white papers, write down the words. Now remember, when you write down these words, you should have a mixture of familiar and unfamiliar words. It shouldn't be just the unfamiliar words. You will get bored. Coming to these words, I have some familiar words, ordinary words, and some difficult words also. I've chosen a few words for you just to help you with the activity. Now you have these words, okay? So on one side I have written the word. The other side is blank. Now you may feel that this is a repetition of the activity or newspaper article that we did earlier. No, that's not the case. This will help you to make sentences and also to be spontaneous with what you listen to. So instead of simply speaking on a topic, for example, your daily routine, technology, or your mobile phone, or just speaking about the topic, you can do something constructively also adding to that. So have this word, keep the papers like this, that is, you have all the papers, okay, arrange it like this. I'm just arranging the papers. I can see only the blank side of the papers, okay? Keep it like this on the table. Yeah, I'm keeping it on the table next to me. And then I'm going to pull out the word. So I've listened to the story. I'm quite okay with the story. It's okay even if you're not thorough with it. The first word is sympathy. Okay? Of course, something closer to this was mentioned during the story. What is the meaning of sympathy? Okay? Pity, feeling sorry. Okay? Like that. Now in the story, just think about it. You can also create your own context connected to the stories. So can you think of the area where sympathy was mentioned? So precisely it is the editor who had some sympathy for Henry Charles Bukowski, the writer. Okay? But if you don't remember that, you can say, oh, I have some sympathy for Henry or the writer. I have. After reading the story, after getting to know about this writer, you have some sympathy. Otherwise, if you're able to recollect, you can say, there was an editor who had some sympathy for the writer, for this man who was a chronic alcoholic. Okay? Like that also you can say. If you do this consistently and repeatedly, you will notice a kind of flow developing with your sentences. Now here in between I'm speaking. That is why it's taking much time, because I need to elaborate and give you the activity. So that is sympathy. It's over. I'll pull out the next word. It should be familiar and unfamiliar words. The next is rejection. Oh, you know the meaning. You can change the form of the word like reject, rejected, rejection. So can you think of a sentence? It can be in any tense, because we have been working on tenses, past tense, present tense, past continuous. You can use any tense, no problem. Okay? Rejection. You can make a sentence if you want. I'll give you some time. Pause. Okay. The hero, the writer, faced rejection. Or he was rejected. He had a lot of rejection slips on his table. He felt bad and disappointed when he got rejected. Okay? Next, I'm going to pull out the next word. Approach. Approach. Do this consistently. So that's a very familiar word. If you don't get anything, you can say, oh, the story has some good approach to life. Okay, it has got, or it taught me some good approach to life for the beginners. But if you have a good thought, you can say, this writer had a different approach to life. I think he became successful after that. You can also think of your approach to life that helped you with success or positivity, or even just accepting yourself. The next word is writer. So I listened to a story about a writer, a famous writer. If you remember the name of the writer, you can say this is a story of a famous writer, Henry Charles Bukowski, or an American writer. You can say some writers get rejected in the beginning. Everything is connected to the story, that's all. If you're not able to recollect the sentences, is okay. You can just make some other sentences connected to the story, general sentences. The next word is emptiness. So he had this sort of feeling when he felt empty. He felt blank because he was not able to get the appropriate title. Okay, so he experienced a sort of emptiness. Or he felt empty, he stared, okay, or he was blank, he didn't know what was to be written, but he just decided to be honest, genuine. Okay, so this is the activity. What is the purpose of this activity? When you take up these words, you will be able to develop some fluency, flow, specifically flow. Remember that flow is important. Once you get the flow, and when you correct your sentences, when your sentences get corrected with some good vocabulary, you develop fluency gradually. That is the best part of yourself. Now there's another idiom, okay? I just wrote this. Wear your heart on your sleeve. What is the meaning of that? Wearing a heart on my sleeve? This one? No. It means to be open, to be open-minded. He was like an open book. Henry was like an open book, and we can say that he was not scared to wear his heart on his sleeve. Today, when you learn the English language, if you decide to pretend to be somebody else, you will definitely face a setback sometime in your journey. You need to have that original style. It's okay if you mispronounce. It's okay if you make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. Even native speakers make mistakes. I'm telling this repeatedly because I have some conversations and conferences with the native speakers. They tell us, just like how you make mistakes with your native languages, we also do the same thing. We are not experts. We are still learning the language. Okay? Proficiency is different. Okay. You can put in more words. So if you have some list of vocabulary words, you can add to this, and if it can be applied to this context, make use of that. For example, if you have the word perseverance, you can try to use that. You are good today. Tomorrow you will become better, and the best will follow you. Believe in that. Okay, I hope this activity helps. It's not just making sentences. Please take note of that. You're not making sentences with these words, but you're trying to connect the words to the story that you listen to. So many people tell me, ma'am, how to practice? I listen to a lot of podcasts. I read a lot of books. Even if you just read 2 pages, and if you come across some good words, mix up the familiar and unfamiliar words like approach, writer, good, bad, whatever, and few new words. And then do this activity. Instead of just speaking about topics, many learners feel that it's becoming redundant and boring. When you feel that it's mundane, or when it is quite repeated by many people, you can try this out in between, but do this consistently. It will not take more than 10 to 15 minutes. I do this on a regular basis, and also I ask some of my learners to do it. They have given me positive reviews and feedback. Okay, so that's about today's session. Thanks for watching me, and all the best. May the best come to you.